I opened for Snoop at this thing called Salute the Troops earlier this year. And
where's that?
It was like near Irvine area.
Okay.
And
Before
I'm
we
not
continue,
kidding.
Can I scoot you in a little bit? Is that
Of course,
possible?
yeah.
I just want to get you closer to the mic.
Yeah,
You good?
no worries, absolutely. So I opened for Snoop, and the funny part about it was literally the entire event had maybe maximum the whole time 10 people in this humongous room. Then Snoop's night came up. It was a 2-day event. Snoop's night came up, and I somehow managed to get myself, because everyone's like, we're going to get you to open here, we're going to get you to come on as one of the first, which means I would have been performing for like maybe 5 people. No, I'm not kidding.
Right.
And somehow I ended up finding a way, and I went to like through Snoop's guys, I talked to them. I mean, hustle, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to perform right before Snoop. They're like, yeah, but we got these guys. And you know who was before Snoop? Cold War Kids.
Oh, wow.
No, not Cold War Kids, Capital Cities. So it was Cold War Kids, Capital Cities, and then Snoop. So I'm like, can you guys push Capital Cities and Cold War Kids down, right, and have me perform? And they're like, no, that's never going to happen. I'm like, please, you gotta let it. I've got to be there before Snoop, because it will lighten them. And this crowd, they need some enlightenment. They need some inspiration. And well, look at me, I'm missing an arm. I mean, I'm perfect for this. And this is Salute the Troops. It's
Yeah, for sure. It resonates,
stuff, right?
hits the...
So it resonates. And you have, and one of the guys, some big guy, I don't know what his name is, but a big guy. They just look at him, and he just looks down and he goes, yeah, that's it. No, nothing, just, yeah. They're like, all right, we're doing it. So they put me in the slot right after Capital Kids. And I'm like, this is awesome. Capital Kids, and then me, right? And I open for Snoop. I do 2 songs. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I needed, 2 songs.
Quick 10 minutes.
That's it. Walked off stage. Snoop comes on. Snoop saw the performance. He's like, this is awesome. Whatever he needs. And then I ended up kind of getting in touch with this guy, James Philippin, who's a part of the camp. And he's got this thing called Uncle Snoop's Army, and they're doing this whole thing happening, right? It's awesome. Like, we want to support you, whatever it is. And then before you knew it, I call him up. I said, listen, I'm doing this event, and it's the launch of my nonprofit, but not just my nonprofit. It's also the relaunch of Emmanuel Kelly, right? But I want Snoop Dogg. And he's like, why would you have Coldplay, Chris Martin of Coldplay, and then Snoop Dogg? That just doesn't make sense. That's the ultimate. I go, because my nonprofit and me as a brand, Emmanuel Kelly, is all about creating equality, diversity, and inclusion. What better act to have than the complete opposite to a Coldplay or a Chris Martin, right? And he's like, you know what, you make a good point. So you got this super white English guy, right? You got an Arab, me, Australian, right? Well, I could be from anywhere. I was found in a box in a park, so we'll get into that. But then you got an Arab, right, doing an event at a Jewish house, right? Jewish house, okay, with an urban artist as well. I mean, figure that out. Literally the ultimate. I mean, you got Arabs, Jews, white, and urban, and brothers mushed in together.
Sign of the times. Sign of the times.
We're brothers, right? And that's the reality of it. I've never thrown an event in my life before. I've never produced an event in my life before. I've never even hosted an event in my life before. Everyone does it for me, and it's been me and 2 other guys that's done this. 3 technically, but 2, right? James Philippin, who's Snoop's guys, they've helped, right? And then you've got big time. And then you've got Chris Martin's team who've, assisted in areas that need to be assisted in. And you've got Dominic Calms, who has his company, Givin, which I think I told you about, GVNG, and they're a technology company. And the 3 of us have pulled this miracle event. And by the way, 24 hours ago, we didn't have a house.
No. Yeah, we were looking.
That's how it works.
And you said, hold on, you said, and you go, I'm not a producer. And I said, listen to just the last 3 minutes from speaking. You're like, you put it together.
We put it together.
Yeah, you produce it. You're producing it.
Sound like a producer to me.
Well, maybe that.
Handling your shit.
That's it. I'll go by the typical Hollywood title. I'm a producer, actor, musician, singer, model, philanthropist. I'll just have all these titles, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, look, and I think that's the reality of it, right? We're living in an age where you can have hundreds of titles, and the only title that really matters is the title that's inside of you, right? I'm Emmanuel Kelly, and I'm making something that I think, and I hope that the world will remember for the entire year. And I hope that what we're creating and me making it in this industry elevates people's consciousness to another level, to a level where they don't look at that person because he's got a beard and think, he's a redneck, right? Or, that guy with tattoos, they're probably rough and they don't do business with them, right? Or this guy over here, because he was in the streets, 3 weeks ago, he's probably got nothing on him, right? Whatever it is, right? Or this guy, because he's missing an arm and a leg and all this sort of shit. Yeah, he wouldn't get girls, or he can't do this, so he's not going to pull it together an event. This is not going to happen. You know what? Anything's possible.
Yeah, here we go.
Anything's possible, and we need to stop judging people by the way we look. That's the problem with our societies. We judge. We think that your look determines your ability, and instead, it should be your ability that should determine your look.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
So we're here at the Space Between, and we want to express our gratitude for you coming out. We're here with Emmanuel Kelly.
What's up?
A super, super talented individual who has overcome things that we can't even imagine to get where he is today. And I can't wait to see where he gets tomorrow. I mean, we're very grateful to have you here.
Let's find out.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
are.
We're about
Tomorrow,
to find out.
literally tomorrow,
Yeah,
actually, speaking of that.
Yes.
Emmanuel has an event tomorrow night that's going to be amazing. You want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I have an event tomorrow afternoon, which is the one we just talked about. It's for my launch of my nonprofit and relaunch of Emmanuel Kelly, just me as a person. It's kind of a place. You know what? It's a space in between itself in that sense, right? And I don't know if that makes sense to you, and I'll explain it. Why? Because we're creating a space for people to feel free to remember and realize that their ability will determine their look, not the other way around. And so, the idea of this nonprofit is to create equality, diversity, and inclusion within the arts world by providing large and small-scale grants, as well as large and small-scale mentorship programs, which I'm thrilled about, because we're going to have amazing mentors. I'm going to get you as a mentor. I haven't spoken to you, but it's going to be amazing, right? And some amazing people are going to mentor young minority groups. Doesn't matter where you, and the best part about it is, doesn't matter where you're from, you will be taken care of as long as you're looking at an opportunity to create a project, or you are the project that will create awareness for equality, diversity, and inclusion. And we'll support you. We'll fund you. We'll lift you. If you're a non-profit, we'll support you. We'll fund you. We'll mentor you if you need it. Whatever it is. It can be a business, a company, an individual, an artist. We're looking at those individuals. We're focusing in the arts world to start with, but eventually the idea and the vision is to expand out
branch
completely
out.
and be the bridge between other non-profits to come together and start working together more, And so that's the event tomorrow. It's going to be launching. Chris Martin from Coldplay's performing. It's insane. Yeah. Snoop Dogg's performing. Some of our guests, it's insane. We've got some of our guests include like Martin Lawrence, Akon, Chris obviously is coming. Chuck Liddell or whatever that guy's name.
Yeah. Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, he's coming. Luke Rockhold. We've got people from the entertainment world and the arts world, kind of joining us, and boxing world, and Oscar De La Hoya is coming. Like it's going to be epic.
That's
cool.
Epic. That's great.
That's amazing. What time is that event tomorrow?
The event is it starts from 1 and ends at 6. Here we go. I just actually got a text, and I'm allowed to announce these, which is amazing. So if you want me to, Anthony Anderson, Bob Bisno, Michael Hale, Janet Jackson.
She's cool.
Tons of people.
Who is she again?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Exactly.
Real.
It's insane. It's insane.
That's
You know any of
great.
these names? I don't know.
I can't even read.
Yeah.
know any of these names?
Yeah, no, I need my readers.
Wow, you guys are that blind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
It's
bad.
really
It trips
bad.
me out. If I don't have my glasses, I start
Well,
just.
put your glasses on.
Yeah.
Tell me if you know these names, because I don't know these names.
See.
I think I'm too young.
Dude.
So how do you guys?
Brother.
How did you guys get to know each other? How did you meet?
We met on Tinder, actually.
Yeah. Some wild shit.
Mm,
Okay,
It
who
was.
who swiped left first? Or
I
right?
swiped.
Yeah, all right.
I'm the giver.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. And he saw my hands and he's like, wow, he's
That's
got some
interesting.
gifts.
Yeah, that's
He's got some
interesting.
gifts. I wonder how this hand is going to.
Yeah. We got rollerblades. It was on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, how did we meet?
It was. We
Through a
ended up. It
friend.
was here. Yeah, through a friend. And trying to think of the guy's name, but we ended up at a.
It was a woman.
It was Rose. It was Rose, but
Rose.
through this other guy from the Dogon tribe. I'm trying to think of his name.
Connected you to Rose.
Yeah, that said it was started talking about.
Rose, then how did I meet Rose, though? I met Rose, I think, through another friend of mine, Candace Barr. And then Rose, and then I came here.
Yeah, that's why you were here, and we started talking about because we were just talking about doing the project Acon, but I really wasn't sure what was happening. I was just trying to get something done. I got a download to do the project, and Emmanuel Kelly shows up, and I was like floored by the story. But so many things had happened in between then. We had Damian Marley and Acon, and we were supposed to do it at the Greek, and it was a year ago, and just so many different things happened between then. Fire. and-
Honestly, everything, that space in between, which is what you
Right.
guys do, right?
Yeah.
In between that space was everything you could possibly imagine to not connect us back together. Like, we should not. I mean,
It was-
technically speaking, we shouldn't have been able to be connected again.
It was
In the first place,
strange.
and even
Yeah.
reconnected.
Acon called me at home and goes, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor. A friend of mine lost a location for this gig. It's the one we're talking about with Chris Martin." And I go, "But I didn't know yet. So it was Emmanuel Kelly yet." He goes, "You got to call my buddy,
Ken.
Ken
Rutowski from Metal.
So I go, okay. I call him up. He goes, "It's my friend Emmanuel Kelly." I stopped. I remember I was outside in the dirt, and I go, "What?" He goes, "Emmanuel Kelly." I go, I know. I heard you." So I got to get his number. I was like, I got to see him. So it was just so random, because then it was like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That came straight from into Acon's thing, into my room, and I called them, and I was like, "Yo, I got to talk to you now." "Yo, I got to talk to you right now."
That's great.
Yeah.
And you guys were considering doing it at the house where we did the other thing, right, with Jeff Goldblum?
No. Oh yeah. Well, we were trying to figure out a way to get their location, because he's performing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we went and checked out. Yeah. We did the old art show.
Yeah.
But they found a location, and that's awesome. So
Amazing.
yeah.
It was insane.
And the
But-
Snoop thing, that's what I was asking. The whole randomness of it. That's why I was saying, how do you get the whole
Snoop's-
Snoop? And Snoop is part of the gig
Well, it's
we're
actually
doing.
not
He's
random if
playing-
you think about it. Energetically, it's all
We're
aligned
meant to be.
perfectly.
Yeah. It's just.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like we're brothers from another mother.
That is beyond.
Well, then that means we're brothers too, because we're all brothers. You know what I mean? I love
No,
it.
and-
All right.
There it is. There it is. Now elbow the man. There it is.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
But yeah, so that's how random it is. And then
It really is.
I wasn't even thinking. The funny thing was, I was still kind of reeling from it, and I had the podcast, and they're like, who you gonna who you want to interview? We have to, and I didn't think for any other reason. And remember, I went to go see you, and you were speaking, and I knew the story, and I knew it, but just for whatever reason, it was just different.
at that little place in
Yeah,
in
because
West Hollywood.
when you're saying it versus if you read about it, or you have your own, your imagination, the way what you think or you picture the story is, but when you're expressing it and you said it, I was like, yo, that just hit me differently. When it's coming out of your mouth and you're expressing it than reading it. So
Yeah, I think, for me, we do this a lot, right? And I don't do my research all the time. I kind of come here and I don't
love it.
necessarily expect
It's awesome.
certain things. I'm being honest here, Joey, and Joey always likes me to be honest. And he goes, you got to go sit down and do your research. And it almost brought me to tears because of, obviously the story, but just how how grateful I was for what I have and what I haven't gone through. You know, I was like, and I complain because my car doesn't move fast enough, or my kid doesn't listen when you know what I mean? It's really a wonderful story, and we got to give you a lot of credit for it. And you're definitely a big inspiration for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Appreciate it, man.
And on that note, do you want to kind of give us the rundown? Give us
give us a little bit like
the version, your version.
So so my story is, I was originally found in a box in a park in Iraq by two soldiers. And this is the story. This is how it goes, right? And these two soldiers were shooting at each other. And soldier one hears a child cry, a baby cry. Soldier two hears a child baby cry. And they both put their guns to the side and they walk towards the box. And when they get to the box, they realize that's definitely a child, and they weren't hearing anything. And they both looked at each other, looked back down, picked up the box, took it to an orphanage, and left it there. They left a little note saying, "We are two soldiers. We are two soldiers from two opposite sides. This boy saved us, save him." That simple. Never saw the soldiers again. They knocked on the door. Nuns picked us up. And obviously, you know, and we found this boy in a park, right? That was it, right? In this box in a park, and that was it. And for the next 7 years at this orphanage, at the Mother Teresa Orphanage where they brought me, for the next 7 years, I was raised there. And every day, I mean, we'd have bullets crossing the wall, and you know, every day we'd have to think, okay, well, we can't play that side because that's where most of the bullets are going, so let's play over here so we don't get shot. We'd have to go up this hill, about this steep, right? And that hill was filled with landmines, and we would have to go up the hill, my brother and I, not my biological brother, but my brother. We would go up this hill, and we would get a bucket of water and bring it down the hill, and we'd have to dodge all the landmines. Like, it was insane, right? When I was about 5 years old, my brother was doing this from the day, like from, I think, the age of maybe 7 or 8. He was changing their diapers. He was feeding the kids in the orphanage. Like, he was doing all that. When I turned 5, I started doing the same thing, changing kids' diapers. I was, feeding them. I mean, it was insane. I was a 30-year-old at the age of 5. I was a parent at the age of 5, right? It's insane. But the mind is an extraordinary thing, right? So anyway, cut an awesomely long story short, we're at the orphanage, and on top of experiencing executions, seeing executions, almost getting executed on a number of occasions. I mean, the whole package. We on top of all that, we were stuck in this orphanage, and we had nowhere to go, and our minds thought that the rest of the world was exactly like this. So we had this perception in our heads that the world is this. It's a pretty wild thing to have at 6 years old or 5 years old. But on the other side of the world, this woman, Moira Kelly, in Albania, humanitarian, worked with Mother Teresa. I mean, she's incredible. She now owns land in the Gaza Strip, and she's building a garden and area of safe haven for the Palestinians and the Israelis as well to kind of congregate, and that's their place, right? That's the safe zone. I mean, she's incredible. She hears about my brother and I, and in her, this nun comes up to her and she says, I can't do Albanian accents, but I'm assuming this nun was, let's say this nun was just Russian, right? She goes, Moira, do you have some vodka? No, she didn't say that. She said, yeah, Moira, this is Snoop. You got some? No, kidding. No, she says, Moira, there's these two boys, and they need your help. And Mum goes, okay. Well, Moira goes, all right, sister, no worries. Where are they? And the sister goes, they're in Baghdad. And Mum goes, sister, the only Baghdad I know of is in Iraq and Australia. Now, I'm assuming it's Australia, which is great if it is. And Mum goes, no, it's in Baghdad, in Iraq. She goes, sister, are you mentally insane? And she goes, no, I am not. And Mum goes, well, sister, I'm in Albania. Iraq is on the other side of the world. I'm a very white woman. It's going to be very difficult to get into that country. And she wasn't right. I mean, she wasn't wrong. It was insanely difficult. Took her like 6 months. Finally, she gets her visa and everything to go through. And she gets in. And I remember 3 days before this woman comes to the orphanage, I remember hearing 3 days before, there's a woman, she's coming to help you. And in my head, I remember thinking, oh, wow, this is going to be amazing. I sat on a window ledge for 3 days straight, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually she arrived. And I looked down that window ledge and the window. And I looked down on the street. And I saw this blonde woman, blue eyes, white dress. I remember thinking 3 things. 1, is she an angel? And was I dreaming? Right? 2, can she and will she help us? And 3, how the hell did this white woman get in this country? Right? I mean, she was white, freckles and all. Like, she was insanely white. And she comes inside and she gives us the day of our life. We sung this welcome song, Hearty Welcome, that we'd learned. I mean, imagine 6-year-old Emmanuel. I mean, you're seeing man Emmanuel right now, but imagine 6-year-old Emmanuel, right, singing this song, Hearty Welcome. And the song goes something along these lines. I think I still remember. It goes, hearty welcome, hearty welcome, hearty, hearty welcome, hearty, hearty welcome. I'm doing Child Emmanuel's voice.
That's right.
Hearty, hearty welcome, hearty, hearty welcome, welcome, kumbaya. And she's like, this is adorable, right? I mean, I look back at it, I'm like, that is adorable. That can't be me. And then I remember, nope, that's me. I've just gone from adorable to handsome. That's all that's happened. But anyways, so she comes in and we're checking everything out, and she's checking everything out, and she's looking at my brother and I. Takes us out for the day. For the first time ever, we get out of the orphanage, and we beyond the walls and the fences of the orphanage. For the first time ever, we step out.
How old were you, said?
Hey?
How old?
6, 5 or 6 years old. Yeah, around 5 or 6, right? Probably about 5.5, to be honest. And we step outside, and we start looking at everything, and we start seeing Iraq as Iraq, and we start seeing beautiful parts, we start seeing bad parts. I mean, we see just crazy stuff. On top of what we had seen. I mean, this is another part of the world that we'd never seen in our lives before. And we go to the River of Babylon. I mean, it's amazing. She talks about, giving us a new life and, working on trying to help us and, just talking, right? Communicating. And for the first time ever, I felt like I belonged. This woman was just giving all this love that she had. She takes us back to the orphanage. My brother then looks at her and he says, Moira, can you help us? I don't understand why, but my brother had an Indian accent. It made no sense whatsoever. But he had a perfect Indian accent. And he's like, Moira, can you help us? And Mum goes, I'll do my best. And Auntie Moira says, I'll do my best, Ahmed. I'll do my best. And he goes, well, if you cannot help Emmanuel and I, both of us, right, then take Emmanuel and maybe come back for me another time. He said, maybe. At the start of this, I said, my brother isn't my biological brother. We have this mindset that blood, it's thicker than water, right? Everyone always says blood is thicker than water, blood is thicker than water, blood is thicker than water. Holds, family's family, we hold together, right? We're blood. A lot of people don't realize that there is actually one thing that's thicker than water and blood, and that's love.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Love is the only thing thicker than blood. The only thing. It holds people together. It creates family. Love literally is the reason we have blood. Right? So, my brother had so much love for me that he was willing to sacrifice his opportunity to be saved, his life, for a kid that was in the orphanage. And we're living in a world and in a society where everyone's always about surviving. You gotta survive. It's the survival of the fittest. And people are willing to, excuse my language, but fuck other people over in order to what? Find a girl that they can love, or, to hurt someone in order just to achieve a career in their lives. People are willing to do that. Now, you got a boy that in every power and every understanding of society that we're living in should be looking out for one person. Who's that one person? Himself.
Yeah, self. Yeah.
But instead, the way he saw the world was, in order to help himself, he needs to help me. I asked him once, I said, why'd you do that? He goes, because I knew that when you made it, when you were at a point, you'd come back for me. Mum heard that. Auntie Moira heard what he said about take Emmanuel. Right? And in that moment, any mother, if you're a mother or a father or a sister or a brother, whatever, right? Anyone in that moment would turn around and be like, I'm not just helping one, I'm getting them both. And it's both of them or nothing. It's both of them and both of them. Like, there is no nothing.
Yeah.
She hustled her ass off. 2.5 years. I mean, there was an arrest by Interpol, the whole package. She got us out. 2 years. Got us out.
Nuts.
Just getting us from Iraq to Jordan was like Hurt Locker meets Argo. Have you ever seen Hurt Locker?
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy.
Meets Argo. Have you seen Argo?
Yeah.
It's insane, right? So she gets us out. We arrive at Jordan. We get on a plane. We fly. We're good as gold. We stop in Germany and Austria. We're wild. We're seeing the world. Cultural changes. I'm having a heart attack seeing girls with tank tops and shorts.
Yeah.
My brother. There's stuff happening to my brother because he's at that age where he's starting to know what's going. Not understand because he's got no clue. But his body, his internals are like, what's happening here?
Right.
And me, I'm just having a heart attack as a 7-year-old because I'm not at that point where things should happen. I'm just at 7 and I'm thinking, this is terrible. This is wrong, right?
Yeah.
She shouldn't be wearing a tank top. She can't be driving. That's bad, right? Shit like that. I mean, it was crazy. We arrive in Australia. I remember going towards, and this is one of the reasons why I started the non-profit Virtuoso and trying to take away the judgment. Now, don't judge a book by its cover. You heard that. I'm trying to do that, right? I arrive. Doors open. I walk through, and I'm, super confident. And I'm not walking, right? I'm in this tricycle, right? And this tricycle had a blue wheels, a yellow seat with blue and red handlebars, right? So I'm riding this along, and I'm going right, and I'm going towards this way, but Mum goes towards. No offense, you guys. Mum goes towards these guys that kind of look like you, except wider, right? Wider versions.
Right.
Tattoos. The difference is they had his beard, right? So imagine wider versions of you guys with his beard. It was insane. Tank tops and twice the size of both of you. Big boys. Mum goes towards them. I'm thinking, well, maybe she's gone past them because there's a family behind them and it looked really nice and beautiful. But there was a family on this side. Blonde hair, blue eyes, had it all, right? Suits. Honestly, it looked like a beautiful Mormon or Catholic family, right? Right? And I specifically say those two because it just looked like that, right? And I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'm going to go this way. So I start walking towards this family over here. And or like a Jewish family, right? And so I start walking towards this side, right? And we're all good, and they had freckles and everything, but just they looked the part. They looked like her. And then she walks towards this side. She goes, Ahmed Emmanuel, it's this way. And we're like, no, it's this way. This is your family, right? They have blonde hair, blue eyes. My brother literally looks at her and he goes, blonde hair, blue eyes, brothers, right? She goes, no, we're this way. And we're like, all right, cool. So we start walking towards, and we thought, maybe it's the family behind them because they looked similar. And so we're going towards this family, and then she stops. She goes, Ahmed Emmanuel, meet my brothers. And we're like, and I looked at her, I go, can we go back to Iraq? They're very scary. And she goes, you just came from one of the scariest places on earth. You're looking at they're very scary. That's literally what was, and I said that. She goes, no, they're my brothers, boys. Oh, shit. And I'm just like, anyway. And in that moment, I realized, you know what? Don't judge a book by its cover, because those guys were the nicest people you'll ever meet. I mean, they were awesome. Fun, beautiful, just charismatic. It was just amazing, right?
Yeah.
It just shows everyone, we're constantly judging. And it was the first lesson I learned, not to judge. But I did it again. I get in the car. And it's a big van, and I get in, and I looked at this woman, and I said, excuse me, who drive this car? She goes, I am. I go, no, misunderstand. Who drive this car? She goes, I am. I go, no, you not speak English. She goes, I do speak English. I'm from Australia, young boy. And I go, no, Australia not speak English. She says, you're freaking Iraqi, and you don't speak English? I don't speak English? Yes, you not speak English. And she goes, and I go, who drive this car? And we went on in this for about a good 5-10 minutes. Eventually, she turns around and she goes, I am, so shut up. I kind of jumped, and I'm like, oh, sorry. She goes, now, young man, I'm your grandmother. I'm like, oh my God, she's a scary woman, right? The next day, she brings me, she drives the car, by the way, and the next day, she wakes me up really early. It's like 7 a.m. and I've just traveled. She wakes me up. She goes, now, young man, we're going to have a little conversation. So I walk out. I don't walk. I scoot against the floor. I scoot to the front porch, and she gives me a cup of tea for the first time. I taste what a cup of tea is. Everyone's had tea, right? But for the first time ever in my life, I had tea. Figure that out. For 7 years, I've never touched tea. Simple thing like tea.
Yeah, basics.
All right. So I'm sitting there, and she looks at me and she goes, now, young man, is the tea good? Yep. She gives me some shortbread. She has it. She goes, now, young man, is the shortbread good? And she goes, good. Now that your stomach is full and you feel good and you have some sweet stuff in your system, you need to learn the most important lesson you will ever learn in your life. I said, yes, yes, Grandma. She goes, for now you call me ma'am. I said, yes, ma'am. And she goes, you need to learn that women run this world and this country, not men. And I looked at her, I go, yes, ma'am. She goes, you remember that, right? And I'm just like, yes, ma'am. And obviously I'm just terrified, right? I walk back inside and I have lunch. And my lunch was spaghetti bolognese. I learned how to eat spaghetti bolognese for the first time. Like, it took me 3 hours to learn how to eat it. This woman, Moira Kelly, had pure tough love inside of her. She taught me how not only to be kind, but also to be loving towards to be tough towards myself and others. I mean, she taught me the values that every kid should learn. I mean, it was powerful, right? So I had all these life-altering things in my life at this point, right? And then it came to my first surgery. I had my first surgery, then I had my second, then I had my third, then I had my fourth, then I had my fifth, then I had my sixth. Eventually, I had my sixth. By the time I was 17, I had 6 surgeries. And when I was 17, I did high school, the whole package, right? I auditioned for Australia's Got Talent. It was because of those early lessons, I not only learned willpower, determination, I learned how to fight for what I believe I have the right to. I mean, to the point that Mum one day said to me, Emmanuel, you need to look for something else instead of acting because I don't think you'll make it. She was right. People will typecast you and all this sort of stuff. Then her cousins and her friends and her family would say to me, Emmanuel, you know, you want to be a singer, that's not going to happen. No one like you has ever made it before, and 1 in a billion make it. And I go, oh, hang on, go back. And I was 15 at the time. Go back. She goes, I said, repeat what you just said. 1 in a billion? No, before that. No one like you has made it before. I go, stop. Exactly. There's been actors, there's been speakers that are, you know, differently abled or have disabilities. But name me one pop artist or commercial pop success that is physically, noticeably differently abled. Yeah, you got people like Andrea Bocelli or Stevie Wonder. I get that. But you put a pair of glasses on, you won't know they're, and they're playing, you wouldn't know they're blind.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. But you put me on a stage, you'll notice immediately. You'll see the hands, you'll see the legs, you'll see the way I walk on stage. You notice instantaneously. Right? They literally, you can, remember how I said from the start, your look determines your ability. Right? Literally what labels and entertainment industries have constantly done is they've, even if you're slightly overweight, like Adele or whoever it is, right? You're a plus size, right? Even if you're at that point, Megan Trainor, people like that, right? There's tons of names, right? We can name them. The tenors, the opera tenors. I mean, people like that, right? They've still managed to create some kind of perfect persona around them. They've rebranded them in order to look the part. You can't do a lot here.
Yeah.
These hands aren't going. I mean, what, you're going to put a metal hand? I mean, it's still going to be noticeable. You can't change this. This is who I am. Yeah, you may be able to change this, but you cannot change this.
Right.
And so in that moment, I had an epiphany. I looked at them and I said, I'll be the first. I looked at them and I said, I'll be the first. They laughed. 2 years later, I auditioned for, a year later, I auditioned for Australia's Got Talent. Don't make it in. Audition for Australia's Got Talent again. Don't make it in. Audition for X Factor. I make it in. And by the way, before you get to the lives, there's 4 auditioning stages. Excuse me. 4 auditioning stages before the live auditions. It's insane.
How are you getting there? Every time you're going, you having some
Forced mum to take me.
I was thinking,
yeah. She believed in me. Deep down inside, she believed in me.
No, that's beautiful.
But she was terrified that I was going to get let down.
Right.
Like every mother. And I thought to myself, you know, this is you know, I made it into the lives. I'm going to do this. I get to the live auditions and I'm ready. I'm going to sing Home by Michael Bublé. Everything happens. That's saying everything happens for a reason. I don't think everything happens for a reason. I think everything happens in the time it's supposed to happen. And there may be reasons in this. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Everything happens for a reason, but those reasons are sometimes not known in this lifespan. It could be known in the next generation or the next lifespan, right? But everything happens for a reason. So I'm ready to sing Home by Michael Bublé. I'm at X Factor. I'm ready. I'm about to go on stage. 15 minutes before I go on stage, they said, Emmanuel, you ready for Imagine by John Lennon? I said, no, I'm doing Home by Michael Bublé. And they're like, no, you're doing Imagine. I said, you're joking. That's not what I'm doing. And they go, no one called you? They were supposed to call you a week ago and let you know. I'm like, no one called me. They go, all right, cool. He turns the computer around and he goes, you got 5 minutes. Looked at the lyrics. Haven't sung this song since I was 11 years old. But it was also the first song
that you learned to sing.
That I learned to sing in Australia.
Yeah, and you sang the shit out of it too, by the way.
So, thanks, brother.
No, you did. I mean, that's one of the things that peeled that drove me nuts in there, because that song means a lot to us as well. When we went to Agape, they sang it.
Yeah. So he was in there he was tripping. He was like,
I mean, yeah.
he called us. He did.
Well, it's like that thing. It's that connection.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we're all here. Is
that's you were saying earlier, and
connection.
it's a soul connection. So no, there's no soul that's disabled. There's no soul, so
Shit,
you're
no.
all soul, and
No.
we're here connecting in a soul, situation.
100%.
So that's
And you know what? Yeah, the world sees me as an inspiration, but I'm also just a normal guy.
Normal dude.
Completely.
Yeah.
I am genuinely a normal guy, and I say this to everyone that's listening to hearing. I am a normal guy. I swear. I like girls. I'm sometimes too handsy. I'm like every 25.
no. When you first came, I'm like,
You're
right?
you're 25.
I'm 25. I am a normal person. I am not God. I am not Jesus. I'm not anything beyond the person you see. Because at the end of the day, we are all special, unique, and powerful in our own right. But we're also normal. Now, I will say this. What quantifies normal? There is nothing that quantifies normal. Everyone is just you.
Yeah, that's right.
You are you. And you get to determine what is your normal. This, what you see, is my normal. That's my normal. That's who I am. Right? The girl that I have in my life, she's my normal. Right? Everyone can create their own normal. But we live in a society where we're constantly selecting what is normal and what is not normal. Now, a human being who is completely brain dead, they don't know what is normal and what isn't normal. But their family see them as normal. So therefore, they quantify that relationship as normal. And who are we to judge? We don't have the right. At the end of the day, it's none of your business. It's none of your business, and it certainly is none of my business what other people think of me or you.
Yeah.
It's only my business what I think of me. And if I love myself, I embrace this normal, and I embrace who I am, shit, man, anything's possible.
When you think about it, everybody searching for what you have. Like think it, like just know how the way you move through the world. I mean, everybody else is freaking out, finding reasons, pointing to things.
And I
Any
do that.
reason
I do it.
Maybe, but you're getting shit done. You know what I mean?
We had a first world problem doing this event. I had no house to do it at, no venue.
Yeah.
That genuinely is a first world problem, right? So yes, there is no problem. I always say there is no problem that is worse, and there is no problem there is no one that is better than anyone else. Your problem, your gifts, your talents, you are as good as you want yourself to be, and your problems are as bad as you choose for them to be.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
if you choose for them to be bad in that moment, then fine, allow it. Let it out. Get it out of your fucking system. Excuse my language again. Right? And when it's out, it's out.
Yeah, that's deep. That's really deep. I got a message this morning from Muggs when I woke up, and he said, today is the first day of the rest of your life. You're one day closer to death. So what the F are you going to do about it? And I was like, I hopped out of bed immediately, and I was like, I'm getting out of bed.
It's tough.
You know? And to that, you know, like how bad your problems are, like The Secret and all these films, they tell you the more you focus on a problem, the bigger it becomes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like, and Joey, literally before you got here, was explaining to me about how the things that he's had to go through over the last month or the last 6 months or the last year. Most people might be paralyzed or crippled by those mentally or emotionally, but he was able to turn those into motivators and into, well, I wouldn't even say turn it. It just happened that way. Like it's just the choice he made or the choice that was made for him to use those as fuel, you know, to go in the other direction.
I will say this though, with that in mind, I will say this: there are, I guess you want to call them disabilities or different abilities. There are people in this world where their brains are wired in a certain way. Joey, your brain is wired in a way. I'm sure when you went through the situation that you did, your brain rewired itself to be negative, to get frustrated. And now you've rewired yourself to actually get to that point. There are so many people that have been wired in a certain way, unfortunately, since they were kids or things like that. And, you know, that's where things like clinical depression comes in and things like that, right? I say this to them. You have the ability, and as hard as it is, you have the ability to choose people around you to help you rewire that brain. And there is people in this world that are in the clinical world, medical world. Their sole purpose that they've created for their lives is to help you rewire your brain to think in a more positive light. So I don't want to belittle their struggles. I'm not belittling anyone's struggles, and I certainly don't want to do that, right? What I say to that is your struggles are your own struggles, and they are just as important as everyone else's struggles. And you have the ability, just like everyone else, to fight those struggles.
Yeah. Are you going to be speaking on or part of the panel at the event?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And then when he
Perform
he's performing. But I went to see him. The way we got connected again, it was just the same way, because I don't know what it is. I don't see those things, and even when he talks, I don't think about the story. The story's amazing, right?
Yeah.
But it's different. I see him. I feel like I've seen him 1,000 years or 2,000. Even I look through his head, it's like I look at his eyes. I feel him.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even putting that together. Even you see, I'm lit up right now.
Yeah.
It's just, I was in a state of shock when he said his name. Seriously, I was just like, yo, this is fucking happening, and then when I heard, you hear it, so he said, hey, I thought you were performing. You did, but I wasn't really sure what it was, but I was going anyways. But he sat down and he just said the story, and when he expressed it, it was like it just hit me different, I was like, because he was already going to perform. So I already knew that, okay, he's going to perform. But then when I saw, will you speak? Yeah,
it's going to be, the whole.
I don't mean to be so broken up. I'm just thinking about the whole.
I get it.
I'm just.
It's amazing. I mean, it's overwhelming to a certain extent, but it's amazing. But the reason I asked the question is because the way you break it down seems so simple to understand. But we talk about these things so much with so many different people, and everyone has an angle or a perspective. Yeah. But when you bring it to the simplest form,
and that's the thing,
it sounds great.
Because do you know what? Because it is simple, right? You've got all these clinical psychologists, all these amazing people. Don't get me wrong, doctors, and they are the people that I just said dedicated. Their purpose is
to help.
Right. Problem with that is, I'm 25. I'm intelligent in certain areas, but I'm not technically intelligent. When I say technically intelligent, I am not a person who will sit there and understand all these different little neurons going here, this happening there, this happening. No. The reality is I understand one thing and one thing only. Do I have the ability to rewire the way I think, to rewire my brain, to rewire my journey, to rewire the direction I go? Yes.
Yeah, your reaction, all of it.
Everything.
Do I have the ability to shift my life? Yes. Now,
yeah.
There are people that have started in really bad circumstances. Myself, right? I had things in my life that allowed me to achieve what I'm achieving. Don't get me wrong. I had luck. I had things like that. Some people would call it luck. Some people would call it mission, whatever it is. What I call it is manifestation. See, as a child, since I could even remember to talk from the ages of 2 and onwards, in my head, literally in Iraq, I knew and I pushed for it that one day someone, one person, I didn't know if it was going to be a man or a woman, but I knew it would be one person, would come to this place and they would take my brother and I out. I knew. And I said it every day. I looked at myself. I said, it's going to happen. And I said, it's going to happen today. And when it didn't happen today, it's fine. I said, it's going to happen today. And it didn't happen today, that's fine. I said it for 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, you know what?
I said it, or 5 years.
Now that I think about it, when I watched the video of you doing the welcome song, there's a look in you guys' eyes that was like, we're going to be okay.
We're gonna be okay.
And I mean that, and it's really, like, if you look at it, you're sitting there looking up at the camera, and it was like, I thought you were here.
From the very beginning,
yeah,
we knew.
You could see it. You could see it.
Children are very powerful. You know why? Because children have something that adults lose when they become adults. That's the ability to truly manifest your future, because children have zero worries regardless of what the worries are. And they have pure hope all the time. They push towards that hope. And we have parents in our society who are depleting that hope in so many ways. If your kid believes in tooth fairies until the age of 12, you allow him to. Forget what psychologists say it's not healthy. No, it is healthy, because you know what happens? That child has a reality. He's created, or her have created a reality in their brains that magic can be created, and they have the ability to act upon that magic, whatever that magic looks like. It may not be a tooth fairy. The reality is, though, what they're doing is they're manifesting. I know it sounds crazy and a bit wild and outside the box, but they're manifesting. They're manifesting hope. They're manifesting a different kind of tooth fairy.
Yeah.
You see Yogi Bhajan. You see
A
tooth
real-
fairies. I see Yogi
a real-
Bhajan.
So
A realistic version of a tooth fairy.
so Joey, can you
My mum is my fairy, my fairy godmother.
Right.
Right?
tell him a story about Joey or who was trying to fly? What's up? Good.
It was Chaz, and Chaz, he was jumping off like a high thing.
A wall. He was jumping off a wall.
And he was saying he was jumping off, and he said, I could fly. And the guy came up, and I guess maybe wasn't paying attention. I was doing something. He said, hey, your kid, he can't fly. He said something about him not flying. And I looked at him. I'm like, look, man, don't tell my kid he can't fly, because he might. If he keeps trying hard enough, he may fly.
Yeah.
And
You
that
might
was
find a way to fly, yeah.
And so that understanding of the, and sometimes kids, the only thing they have in their situation is having their imagination to escape. So one of the biggest things is it also, when you go into schools and curriculums, that they pull out art and music and things to kids to open them up and open their hearts up. And that's a problem. That's something that they should not do whatsoever. So kids' imagination,
It's powerful.
Yeah.
So let
Powerful.
them. And yeah, they're going to get to a point in their age, because of friends and people at school, where they're going to realize, oh, there isn't actually a real tooth fairy. But you know what? I believe in magic.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what? They'll manifest opportunity. There's a man in 2001 or 2, maybe 3, who came to a bunch of investors, and one of the investors I know, and he said, listen, I want to sell books online. Okay. He goes, you joking? He goes, yeah. He goes, how? What, they're going to come out of where the floppy disks are? Or, like, how is that even going to be possible? No, this is stupid. Do you know where that man is today?
Really?
He's worth $140 billion, and his name is...
He's
serious?
Elon?
No.
Or Bill Gates?
No.
Who?
Come on, guys.
No.
Johnny Amazon? I don't know. Help me out.
Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh,
who-
Ben-
Give you a
Benzo?
clue? Amazon?
Benzo, what's his name?
Come on.
It's not going to come, so just hit us over there.
I was hoping you guys would say, because I went blank for a second.
Oh, shit.
Oh, sorry. We've been all day.
His name is Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
Bezos.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
saying
yeah.
Benzo, Bezos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he created one of the biggest...
Yeah.
I mean, he created a
Businesses,
giant.
Yeah.
Because
sure
he
did.
had a vision. He had a
Yeah.
dream. He believed that magic can be created.
Yeah, but that goes back to your point where it's like we're taught from an early age to not go after the dream or the hope or the you're shut down at every turn. Most of the time, I mean, you go to affluent schools and those programs are there with art and imagination because they have more time and they have more ability to watch the kids or whatever, and the schools are better.
Yep.
That's definitely something we talk about a lot on the shows where we need to work on our children here in the United States a lot more to win, to give them tools to win.
Yeah.
And that's
not
just to
limit.
express, I think, the understanding what it is to love yourself, right? And right when you start, for me, to understand that is was when I was able to start loving people. And it sounds so corny, but really, I had kids, and I was showing them love. I'm completely, but I didn't truly love myself to where I could express what I really wanted to do and love everyone else. And I felt when I went through that awakening that was the catalyst that just opened me up to everything. I felt part of the planet, you know, and to know that we all have that in us, to feel that way, to feel love. Like, it feels weird, but it's like love, like you said, it's like a different realm. It can change, it can move things.
It's thicker than blood and water.
It is like on another level, and it's
its own dimension.
Completely. Yeah. And to know that we all have that and spread it and just to feel that, to feel awake, to feel that loving feeling. It sounds corny now, like or it sounded corny before. Now it just feels good. Like, I'll jump into a bucket of love. Like, I just want to, like, it's like such. It feels so good to wake up and feel that way, you know. And I just didn't before, because I was always tripping on the things what I had to do and to where I just kind of felt like losing that attachment to it and truly feeling that I know that I'm not in control.
Yeah. Well, I mean, society teaches us to feel bad about ourselves if we're not rich, or if we don't have the best girl, or if we don't have the right car, or if you beat up the guy down the block, you're a bully. Like, so we're at a deficit already when it comes to how we respect or we love ourselves. And some of the things that Joey and I have gone through in our journey have, you know, kind of, if you look at that in retrospect, like, that wasn't so cool. So we're already kind of on a downhill slant. But it, like,
you went through some shit, yo. If you think about that, and then that's why for me, and seeing what you came with love from where you came from. Think about that. I was going through my head. I was thinking about, like, everything, like, in my head as you were saying it. I was thinking you going that road, just that, and how you got to this seat right here. That's some wild shit. Yeah. You're meant to be here. You have a bigger purpose. Yo, that's how it was. So that's what's
powerful. And now we're doing November 15th and 16th. Right?
Yep, we have an event downtown, Acon Lighting LA. We got some. You're going to perform. Snoop is going to DJ Snoopadelic.
And
Paul Oakenfold.
Oakenfold.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
he produced a song on your album.
He remixed he produced one of my songs, which we'll be performing that night as well. It's called Eat Us Never Alone, and I think we're debuting it. I'm debuting it tomorrow.
Okay.
At my event, but privately. This will be the first public performance. So if
you're listening, come out.
Yeah.
So please come out, guys. Come watch us. It's going to be an absolute freaking blast.
I heard a rumor that Dean May is going to be there.
Dean May, yes sir, he is.
He's fun. You
know Dean?
I've known him forever.
He's awesome.
He's a great guy.
Legendary party planner and promoter and all that sort of stuff for clubs.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's awesome. Dean is actually the reason I know Paul, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Paul Oakenfold, Acon, Snoopadelic, Emmanuel Kelly. Who else? Joey Nittolo.
What's up?
We got an art show as well. I don't know if you know, art show. I've been in the art business for a long time, and I've got a lot of my friends coming out. Cool. Some people you may or may not know, but let me list off a couple. Have you heard of Brandon Boyd from Incubus?
Yes,
so Brandon's going to be in the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
We got a Banksy that'll be on display.
Banksy, that's cool.
Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 is actually going to be in the show. I don't know. Cisco Adler, who's a Malibu native. Esteban Oriol is a very famous Los Angeles photographer. Jeff Hamilton, who did jackets for the Lakers back in the days, an old school dude. Dave Navarro is actually in the show from Jane's Addiction and Chili Peppers. He's a really he's going pretty aggressive on the art side of things. We got a board, the Kelly Slater board that Retina painted for us, which, Mr. Brainwash is going to be in it.
That's awesome.
Mickey Avalon.
Oh, really? What?
I bumped into him at the Mayfair, and that's kind of how this goes. Like, I just see people, and I'm like, "You're in it." Risky is going to be in the show. Is he still with
Simon Rex?
He is. They're touring pretty aggressively.
Dirt Nasty?
Yeah. Shepard Fairey's going to be in the show. My sponsor, Sean Kushner. Taz, the rock poster god, is going to be in the show. Amanda Sage is going to be in the show.
Chaz Guest.
Chaz Guest is going to be in the show. Dr. Dax, who is the creative director for the Dungeon Family, which is the Outcast crew, and Amanda Lynn, who does all the curating for Kaboo. And, you know, big heartfelt shout out to Amanda, because we just lost a very good friend of ours, Norm, from our crew last week. So, you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're hoping to raise some money. Everything's for sale except for the Banksy. And we, you know, I'd love to give you a tour of the art when we're there and show you everything, because I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm going to be hanging out. We're going to do, and I think we're going to do something special afterwards too, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I want to see with Dean if we can do some kind of deal tour afterwards.
VIP deal.
Yeah, VIP deal at one of the clubs.
Nightingale or one of those.
Yeah, it'd probably end up being at Doheny, but yeah.
That's
Great.
what you said,
I love
Should be
Doheny. It's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah. So it'll be like a VIP experience after the show with probably myself and hopefully Paul and maybe Con, and we got to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into it.
But it's going to be exciting. Come to the event, guys. November 15th and 16th, myself performing, Snoopadelic, Akon, Paul Oakenfold. It's going to be insane.
The Reverend Michael Beckwith.
Reverend Michael Beckwith will also be on stage. Dr. Habib Sadeghi, I believe, is going to be attending and jumping on a panel, I think. Is that correct?
I think he was calling him. I'd love to have him.
Yeah.
If
Well,
not, I think
Habib,
you can make it.
you're coming.
Yeah, no doubt. The Rev says he's going to make a call.
That's it. So it's going to be amazing. I'll introduce you to Habib tomorrow, and you can ask him
You know,
personally.
and there's another whole thing. I know Dr. Habib.
Yeah.
Did you know? You knew that, right?
Yeah.
There's so many other connections.
ask
Dr.
him.
Habib was the doctor that I was sent to maybe talk my ex-wife out of that I had brain damage, because they thought that she was saying he's got brain damage. He's lost his mind completely. But she literally said brain damage. So I was at Dr. Habib's office, and he was trying to explain to her what was going on.
An extraordinary man.
He's amazing. I mean, he's got love. You see him, you look in his eyes, and it's
Pure
like,
love.
Yeah, you
Pure love.
I remember I was talking, like I was somewhere else, and right when I looked at him, it's almost you go into like a beam of something, and you just like stop. You're like, whoa. He just looks at you, and you could feel it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pure love. He's a good man.
Do we have any last questions, though? Sometimes we ask these
last
challenging
question.
Yeah.
Come on,
questions.
ask me
Let's go.
some challenging stuff.
What's a good one?
Who is, if there's any musician out there that you can think of that's really inspired you the most, or, you know, who would that be?
That's
Honestly, Coldplay. They were one of the first songs I learned. I learned Viva La Vida, and Scientist was actually one of the first songs I learned, and Yellow was one of the first couple songs I learned. So Coldplay, Justin Timberlake. Don't know why, I just loved his music. He's
talented
He's
cat.
awesome. He's very talented.
Bringing sexy back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those two really kind of made a huge influence in my musical direction, my focus, and then Andrea Bocelli, who really inspired me to fight, to go for it no matter what. His story's remarkable in itself.
Chris worked on your album, right?
You know, Chris was a mentor. Yeah, he mentored me through it and kind of helped me make it happen. Yeah.
So you're not a huge Slipknot fan?
Pardon?
You're not a huge Slipknot fan?
No. Oh, actually, I did like a couple of them when I was like in high school, going through the goth stage.
That's right.
Why'd you say that?
I don't know. It just came to.
You know that Adrian used to manage them.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But you know what I loved? I loved. Oh my God, where? I loved.
Limp Bizkit?
No.
What happened to them?
Still around.
You know his
They're
ex-wife,
They're touring.
Ksenia.
I don't.
Yeah,
Simple
she
Plan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Simple
I
Plan.
was obsessed with
You know what's so
Simple
funny?
Plan.
I saw Simple Plan.
Green Day, Simple Plan.
I saw Simple Plan
Linkin
play
Park.
with. Who did I see him play with? It was it was another big band, and they were great live. They were great.
Simple Plan. I mean, yeah, Green Day, Linkin Park.
Yeah, man.
Good
Rest in peace,
Charlotte.
Chester.
Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, all those guys. The late
and Joel.
90s, early 2000s.
What about Stained? Did you like Stained?
Stain is great.
No,
I love Stain.
Never really heard from him. Yeah.
Dude, I had a moment in
think it was
Louisville
because
that we'll talk about, but I went
They
to
weren't huge in Australia, though.
I went to a music festival, and there was a bunch of bands playing, and no disrespect to Danny and any of the bands they had play, but there was one band I wanted to see play, and it was Stained, because there's 4 songs that are very emotional that talk about being proud of who you are, and kind of, you know, it's very deep music, right? Aaron's a pretty deep songwriter, and I'm in the backstage area eating food, VIP. I walk out and I see the 4 songs. It's perfect timing, Joey. I walk out, he plays the 4 songs. My boy's kind of giving me shit. He's like, oh, that's not good. Oh, that's weak. You know, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Then we go backstage. And Aaron comes back, and I met him a couple times in the 90s because I was around all those bands. And he gives me that look. And my boy's like, look, I told you he's weird. He's staring at you. And then he walks over to me. And I mean, literally, I had goosebumps. I almost cried. I FaceTimed my daughter. Like, it was amazing. Like, life-changing, amazing. And then he walks over. He goes, I know you, huh? And I'm like, yo, we had dinner with Donut at the Hard Rock. And he's like, yeah, I remember you. And then we ended up hanging out. And that's one of those moments. You know, like, I didn't think the dude would remember me. I mean, I was probably being a knucklehead, so it was hard to forget. But, you know, Stained was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but you know, Aaron Lewis wrote 2 #1 country hits, and he has a whole country career now.
I like country. I actually don't mind it. Lone Star.
Zach Brown.
Kind of the older.
You like Zach Brown?
Yeah. Lone Star, John Denver, love John Denver. The Eagles, I mean, they were country rock. They were
Ish.
country rock, ish. Desperado, one of my favorite songs ever. I mean, yeah, I liked country. Like, it was cool. Keith Urban was cool, but yeah.
Well, thanks for having
That's so
us
cool.
and you.
My man.
And all of us.
I love you, brother. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. November.
No, keep going.
November 15th and 16th. Be there. Don't not be there. Don't not be there, if that makes sense.
That's right.
See you guys.